to Weekend Edition. July has been declared Guam National Guard Month, and in July 1981, the Guam National Guard's command headquarters was officially established with 32 charter members, and over the last 30 years, the organization's personnel strength has grown to several thousand members in both the Army and Air Guard commands. Joining me in studio are Sergeant Major Matthew Charfauros and Chief Master Sergeant John Quinata to tell us more about the many activities lined up for the month. Thank you both for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you for inviting us, Mindy, on behalf of the men and women of the Guam National Guard and the Adjutant General, General Polino. We'd like to thank KUAM for giving us that opportunity to come out and put out our story.
Absolutely. Well, you know, when we talk about the Guam Guard, it has grown significantly in the last 3 decades. A number of accomplishments, I think thousands. I don't know the specific number of soldiers that we have. Do you guys have that on hand?
Well, as far as assigned or authorized strength, I would say is about 1,700.
Wow.
But as far as people retiring and so forth, so there is thousands that have in 30 years that we have gone through the Guam National Guard as far as being in it and stuff. So, but as far as the numbers is concerned, with about the Air Guard, there's about 400. Folks assigned, over 400, and then the rest with the Guam Army Guard.
With the Army side, yeah, we're over 1,200. So
wow,
we're slightly bigger than there.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the accomplishments over the years. I mean, we've seen there's what is that, Fort Juan Munya? It's
yes.
such a small compound, and now we see the Guam Army Readiness Center in Barrigada, and that's even expanding as we speak. So there's been a lot of growth over the years. You want to talk about some of the major accomplishments in both the commands?
Well, as far as the air side, I can speak air, and then Sergeant Major Charfauros will speak Army. But as far as the air side, we have definitely developed into where we're at today. We started out with about 7 Air National Guardsmen in 1981, and we've grown. We went from a civil engineering prime beef mission to now a Red Horse mission that goes over 250 some authorized position. And then we added on the Security Forces Squadron 5 years ago. And then the Force Support Squadron used to be the services flight, now became the Force Support Squadron that combined with the military personnel flight. And just recently, we have the Comptroller flight that was just federally recognized. On the overall umbrella to the Guam Air National Guard is the 254th Air Base Group, which encompasses all these 4 units into one.
Okay.
And on the Army side, we've got pretty much about 5 major commands. The 1st Battalion, 294th Infantry Regiment, which is the biggest of the 5 major commands. That's about 450 and growing. And that unit is kind of tapped to do a real big mission coming up soon. There's a 105th Troop Command, which is another brigade size element that's got many subordinate commands to include the 1224th Engineers, Foxtrot Forward Support Company, the 1671st Signal Detachment, 721st Army Band, and then there's the 94th CST, which a lot of people think they're Air Force because they got blue vehicles going around, but there are airmen in there. There's 22 in there, and they kind of go hand in hand with the Homeland Security Defense. So the people of Guam pretty much see those guys out a lot. And then what else do I got? The Joint Forces Headquarters, which is pretty much comprised of the Guam Army National Guard element, and that's about 300 plus.
Okay. And over the years, you all have done a number of deployments. Your personnel have from the Horn of Africa to
Correct.
Afghanistan, Iraq, Kuwait, and you want to talk a little bit about the deployments over the years? And I know there is an anticipated one in 2013 for a lot of the Guam Army National guys, but do you want to talk about deployments?
Well, as far, like I said, I talk air side because that's what my subject matter expert is. And definitely all the locations that you have mentioned, we've been to most of them. And we continually go through. Matter of fact, our Security Forces Squadron is getting ready to deploy out a few squads tomorrow and also on Monday. And we'll be going to the AOR, and we'll be supporting the mission, the Overseas Contingency Operations there. They'll be coming back, and we will also be, our big deployment will be next year. Also, we're most of our security forces squadron will be tapped to go out to the AOR. On top of that, the Red Horse Squadron, most of the Red Horse Squadron, if not all, will be also be tapped to go to the desert. Supporting them will be the Force Support Squadron, like I mentioned, and then of course little bits of pieces of onesies and twosies with the Comptroller Flight and also the Air Base Group.
Now, one of the things I wanted to mention when you talk about deployments is I think everybody on Guam knows somebody that's in the Guard.
Oh, yes.
You know, has a pari, a cousin, a brother, sister, whatever. And then when we talk about deployments, though, we always hear that the soldiers, the men and women of the Guam National Guard, are some of the best trained when they go out to these deployments. I mean, you guys are blowing these people away in the mainland, you know, that they've got these huge National Guards, and they look and they say, wow, Guam, you guys are really doing great things.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with the local pride. You know, you put a Guamanian anywhere, and no matter how hard it gets, they always seem to capture stuff, you know, and come out with a smile on their face. So everywhere I go, that's all you're going to hear from everybody. Hey, man, those Guam Guardsmen, man, they were out in the middle of nowhere, and they always had a smile on their face. That the camaraderie is really close, and I think that's the local culture in Guam, and a lot of states I see as, whoa, you know, because if you go to the California National Guard, most of those guys don't know each other. In the Guam Guard, Army and Air, we all know each other.
It's like one big family.
Definitely,
One big
definitely,
family.
definitely.
Well,
You know.
And we complement each other. You know, with the Guard, unlike before, before it was a ready reserve, and now we become an operational ready force. And so if you get an active duty force and you get a reserve force, it's seamless. You don't know whether they're Guard or reserve or active duty.
You can't tell the difference.
You can't tell the difference.
Can't tell.
That's awesome. Well, tell us about what's being done to commemorate 30 years. I know you all have a whole month filled with activities, from a 5K to the resumption ceremony.
Right, yeah. And let me start off with the resumption of command ceremony. That starts off on 9 July, about 9 a.m. down at Adelup. And that's going to be the first time in a long time that the public's going to see an actual military formation, a military ceremony, and something we call a pass and review. You know, so the acting governor at the time, at that time, will be Ray Estanoyo. So he's going to host it, and then General Polino, and you know, it's a pretty big event. There's going to be about 1,500 Army soldiers and airmen down there.
Wow.
And then right after that, we'll go right in the next day into the 5K, the Guam National 5K run walk, which is going to be up at GPO, and that's, I believe, 5 a.m. Is showtime, and 6 is a go time for that. And then various sporting events from basketball, softball, volleyball. We already did the golf tournament. I don't know who won the golf tournament, but you
Is
know.
that you? Because I know
yeah,
he's an avid golfer.
You know, yeah, we also did the shooting match. That is complete. But we've got other events. I mean, and another place that the public, if they're interested, they can go on to the Lieutenant Governor's Public Safety Calendar, and he's been so nice to put a lot of our events on there. So that's another place that people can go to track what's going on with the National Guard. But we culminate everything on 7 August. And that's where, you know, the chest thumping and the bragging comes out, and the tag will hand the trophy to the winner, which is going to be an Army unit. You know, I don't know what Jake is thinking about, but the Army's going to take it, and you know, and we're also going to get together with past, present Guardsmen and their families, and have a big lunch like we always do.
Healthy competition, right?
Oh yes.
Very healthy. But you know, the Air Guard's a team to beat.
In golf.
In golf. Well, we've already proven we've proven how successful the Air Guard is. But basically, you know, the real intent for having the TAC Cup is to get the Army, the Air, the families, the retirees, get them together and network with each other and keep that family sense close, so that whenever deployments come up, you know, we're all together as one family, and we all support each other.
Why do you think that Guam, I know, I'm not sure of the specific statistic, but Guam has one of the highest recruiting rates, I think, in the nation, or even
Correct.
overall. Why do you think that is?
I think it's the patriotism. I mean, I can speak for myself, and I see it in all the kids coming in. You know, they love to serve, but above all, they love their island. You know, they're willing to share, and they see it. And I think because of all the huge natural disasters that we've had in the past, the people see that. So the Guard's always in the forefront on any natural disaster. So I believe that's what it's causing.
He said it well.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you all for everything that you do. We really do appreciate it. Are there any last thoughts that you'd like to add out there?
No, not that I know. Thank you again for having us on the show to give out our message, and hopefully that the public can come and witness some of these events that we have going on.
And I'd like to thank the people of Guam for supporting us in everything that we do. And I mean, they've always been the backbone of the National Guard, and I really thank you, Guam, for that. It really shows. For those people who are at home who may be interested in recruitment or joining, how can they do that?
Definitely, you can, for the Air Guard side, just call our number at the 366-7109 or 366-2297. We can definitely get you to the right direction, point you to the right direction. On the Army side, it's 477-5751 or 734-4432. Or just go to the Guam National Guard website, and they can Google that and find out exactly where they need to go. All right. Well, congratulations on 30 years. Good luck to the both of you. I'm not going to side with either one of you. Well, the Army's going to win. Yeah, that's reality. Ask him who's ahead.
Well, thank you again for your service. We really do appreciate it. Again, there will be a host of activities during Guam Army National Guard Month. For more details, you can log on to guamarmynationalguard.com. We're back with more Weekend Edition right after this.
Click on KUAM.com, bringing the world at home close to you. No matter where you are, nationally recognized for excellence by the Radio and Television News Directors Association.